Hello and welcome to this Crystallize live stream. My name is Bård, and today we're lucky to have with us Martin from ZCO in Sweden. Say hello to the internet, Martin.
Hello.
So
nice to have us.
Martin is running ZCO, which is one of our partners, and they've been building on Crystallize for more than 3 years now. And some of the more interesting web shops, especially in terms of storytelling, has been built by them. And what I especially like is their focus on the details and the quality. I could say they are nerdy. We call it Internet Craftsmanship here at Crystallize, so that's a good thing. The topic of today, as you've seen, is product data automation, and we're going to use flows in Crystallize and do it the ZCO way. And this basically covers content quality rules, how you can ensure that the product data has the right fields filled in the correct way. We're going to take a look at how you can automate the translation flows, and also how you can do some content automation or enhancements, and show some examples around that. So where one typically starts in these projects is that you have an ERP or a master data or somewhere that you have the base data for your products. That's the typical situation, right? And how do you get from there to something that is publishable in multiple markets? And I guess that's the quick intro to set the scene here, Martin.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge with large catalogs is that you have several people working on products, different products. You might have, some people are responsible for some product lines and some are for others. The quality that you get from the manufacturer or producer, if you sell other people's stuff, then that might vary as well. And you very rarely get translations for all your markets as well. So it's a combination of, a lot of products, a lot of people working on the products, which then face the challenge of getting just an overview. What have you enriched? What have you not enriched? And so forth. And I think we all seen that Excel might be the preferred way of working.
Excel is the foundation of most of the internet, as we know.
I know, and maybe it's good for the finance side of the business, but in terms of people working with actual numbers. But these product sheets can become extremely big. Which makes it, hard to actually process it on your computer. So working inside Crystallize might be the best in terms of speed and accuracy. But we obviously need to provide that type of flows for the overview and all of that. So is that a segue into actually showing the flows?
I think so. Maybe we can start at the product side of things. I'm curious to see what you have on that side.
So, caveat, this is a demo. We don't have thousands of products. I imported some products from our friends in Norway who does ski gear. And they sell on a lot of markets. So I thought that could be a good example. I have not modeled this towards their product shapes. So this is quite basic, where we have a name, we have a short description, and we have a long description with some formatting as well. And this one is already processed, so I'm showing you the finished result. So we generate the different URLs, so we can show that this, have localized versions of the page. And then we have meta title, meta description, and meta image. Usually meta settings can be a little bit more advanced than this. So you might have an image that is selected for LinkedIn, and one for Meta, and one for Google, and so forth. And then, toggles if you want to exclude this product for some reason from the sitemap.
Yeah.
Those are also meta related. So this one is translated and everything, but if we then start with, I think this was the one where we don't have any translations here.
Yep.
So the typical start would be, we import products, then we have our products. They might be in a folder called new products. So we know that, these are not, and nobody has touched those.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have the information. We use DeepL, has proven to provide very accurate translations. And last evening, when I was checking this demo, I actually compared the Swedish, since I'm Swedish, it's usually the easiest way. I actually compared the translated content from the English version with their site. And there were only a few words that could be deemed as, different tone of language. So the translations are pretty accurate. And
DeepL it's a translation software. It's a SaaS software that you can just plug in as part of your workflow. Yeah.
They have a very quick API that you can just run it through. And the upside with using machine learning rather than AI is that if you have a big catalog and you want to use OpenAI, for example, or Google Vertex, and there are plenty, that might actually run up quite a big bill. So whereas with DeepL, it's tens of dollars instead of thousands of dollars. But it's to everyone's taste. So I will then just send this to a flow, and we have a translate flow. We start with the translated. When translate, when it is translated, it will automatically move this product in the into translated language. I will show this. So you can see that, okay, this one has been translated. And I'm translating it from English. You might start with another language depending on, the source of the import. Some manufacturers, if you work locally in Sweden, maybe you will get excellent product data in Swedish. So you don't have to start with English. You start with your preferred language. We have in Crystallize, there are a lot of webhooks for everything that can happen inside the admin panel, basically. So, a new product is created, we can get a webhook for that, so we can do stuff. In this example, we have when it's added to a flow, when it's published, and when it's updated. But I will get to that later. So moving to the flow then, we added, it's already done, nice. So we added this product from English. So obviously we'll remove the English version because it's not subject to be translated into, only from. So now we have this product translated into all the languages we have. So, Norwegian board, you can help me out here.
I can take a look,
Yeah, so
it looks awesome. The title is correct, at least. Yeah, no, it looks good on the first glance.
Yeah, but it's also keeping the formatting, which is quite nice. So it's translating HTML text. And when I saw, I don't want to be rude in a way, but when I compared some of the products between the English version and the Swedish version on said brand, they had more information in English than they had in Swedish. And that might be that, the translators might not have just accepted all, or maybe it wasn't relevant. I'm not the product expert here. So, but we have a lot of information. We don't have meta title just yet, because that is an additional step, because first we start with the translations. Anyway, it is translated, and so we can start the next part of this. So we, as I told you, we're listening to the webhooks. So we're listening to publish. That means that everything is done. But we're also listening to updates to the product. So in those updates, we can then deem that, okay, should I discard this update because it's not complete, for example? And then we can set rules. It's just a few lines of code where we can say that, okay, we have this product updated. Then we wait for 30 minutes to assume that, this person is not working on the product anymore. And then we can actually publish it, because sometimes you don't want all the people in the organization to be able to, make something live. And you want to have this rule-based. And sometimes you want to add a flow to, some person that is more responsible for what should actually be live. And then they can manually so they have, a flow where they can see all of these products are enriched by my colleagues, and then they can move it to, it is verified, for example. So you can have different types of flows.
And also, typically, when you're doing a lot of translations in a lot of markets, the people that are translating are often also periodically hired, right? So it's maybe an agency that comes in and works, it's a new product catalog, they work for a couple of weeks, and then you maybe want to have that extra verification step. So yes. That's a good example there, Martin.
Either or, if you work with large catalogs, you might want to automate the quality assurance or quality checker, as we usually call it, and that does not only mean to be in this simple, like, does it have a name, does it have a short description, does it have a long description. That could be any field that you deem to set up. More technical products, like, does it have at least 3 measures? Or does it have, width, length, and depth? Those could be the required ones. So we can do several things with that information. We can obviously publish it, but we can also tell people that, hey, this product, maybe you didn't know, but something is missing. So we have set this product to the responsible, it's me. So I'm a lemming, and then we can run, this is usually run, could be run in the end of the day, outside business hours, and so forth. So when people come to the office, they log in, they look at their queue, and then they can just start processing them. But since this is a demo, I will actually manually run it, and hope that it works.
Well, it's live. It should work. and also while you do that, so this I like this because now you have responsible in the different markets. So you say I'm responsible for let's say, for example, Norwegian, and you're responsible for others in terms of quality, but it could also be the other way around. I mean, and this varies between organizations, right? So that you could say that, okay, the first step is that we make sure that the English has all the right content, so that it has the meta fields and it has everything set up, and then you do translations. And what's best for you really depends on the people and the flows, and also how you're going to use it, right? So but it's good to know that there's not a one size fits all here. You can do you, as we say, and you make the process that works for your organization.
So I ran this, and I don't have any missing content because what we had was already there. So if we then just, I mean, it's a bad example, obviously, but if we just, create a new product, and I will call this Martin's product, and then we just add, I'm just going to copy this, and then we don't have, I'm not filling in the long description, which in this case is a required field. But we did have one more thing as well. So there's a delay of everything. You don't want to ping systems too often, but then, as I said, you might want to give some time for people. Maybe I go like, oh, I forgot long description. So we always add some kind of weight to this. Let's see how long we need to wait. Do you have anything you want to add?
I always do, and one thing is, because there's different ways that you can set this up. Right now, you're working on a draft version, which of course I can work on it. I can sip my coffee and ponder if I should write better words in the description. And what you're saying is that you assume after a certain amount of time that you just take this and do quality checks, so that at least you get a list of to-dos for the next morning, for example, because that fits that workflow. Of course, you could alternatively do this as, okay, I just send this draft to another flow and make it event-driven. But that really depends on the situation here, because now you kind of want to catch drafts that, let's be honest, people forgot to complete. And then get a list of, hey, you're actually not totally done with this. And then you can say, if you would have sent it to a flow, but you would have done that after you said it's kind of complete. So it's to catch that state. That's what I'm seeing here, which is great.
Exactly. So just give me 1 second. We actually looked at those timings, and we're working with some catalogs that have about 40,000 products.
Yep.
So it looks like normally when people are enriching, if they just add manually things that you might not uploading an image or whatever, they usually don't come back after 30 minutes. So that was kind of the golden rule that we could see in that sense. So I'm just waiting for the background processes. Maybe I should have made them a little bit tighter for this board.
Yeah.
What do you think?
But also, I'm curious here, because you mentioned background processes, and then my next question is, okay, do you have a server with a cron job? Do you have a script running there, or do you use something more fancy? That's a leading question.
I would say that it's one of the more fancy products we came across, because it's really quick to develop on. It's a tool called Ingest. So everything is TypeScript. We have a lot of terms of validating the data, so we don't spit out data that would not be nice. So we use Sod for example on it. This is very nerdy now, but it does have all the stuff that would take time to develop, such as like queues. We can throttle things, working with Google APIs. You get, like, for different, you might not be able to send more or ask more than like 60 queries per minute or so forth. So all of that queuing systems, throttle, concurrency,
scheduling,
rate
also,
limits, scheduling as well. We have, for example, on the draft, we would cancel listening to the draft if we have a publish meanwhile. So you can cancel stuff. We can set up abandoned cart, for example. So someone creates a cart, and then we will, wait until 2 hours. But if they order in between, we would obviously cancel reminding them, because not
so
all
it gives you a lot
that.
of power, basically, to build and have additional logic with persistence and throttling and queuing and everything in Ingest. So it makes the developer experience, I guess, pretty smooth. There are, of course, other tools like this. I mean, I know Cloudflare just released their kind of similar service, but the point, it's integration as a platform, I guess you call it, where you basically have the plumbing you need to power the service API to do things like this, and integrating system A with system B, getting the API calls all synced up, and making sure that you follow the rate limiting in the different systems, to take a simple one.
Definitely. But I mean, to anyone's choice, you pick the tool that you're more comfortable with. There will always come a new tool and so forth. But that was the most covering that we had. So some stuff has happened in the background, and some we are waiting on. So this product that was complete. So what has happened here is that we have generated all the relative links, and we have also generated the SEO. So this is simple SEO. We could add, the brand name to it as well, if you don't want to do that in the front end. But we have some, checkers that we will actually confiscate. We will shorten it, so it fits Google's predictions. But I think maybe we are already at the point where we can verify that product that I created. So just a second here.
And of course, I mean, already here, I didn't count, was it 7 languages? It's a huge time saver to have like, maybe it's 99% there, and you have to do some small tweaks or at least verify it. But I mean, it's a huge time saver if you're doing multi-country translations.
It really is. Oh, yeah, now I know why it didn't work. I didn't add me as responsible to that product, so I didn't have someone to actually shame if we're working with that. So just 1 second here.
And shaming is important. I mean, that's we've learned that many years ago with versioning software like Subversion or SVN or Git, like people use today, right? Showing my age, where you have the blame, of course, which is important. This is the equivalent to content blaming. So, but what it is a help to make sure that you don't miss stuff, right, when you're working on a lot of products.
I mean, if you are category responsible for a brand where you have like 10,000 products that you are responsible for, fetching data from different manufacturers and everything, where to start? Of course, you're going to miss something. So the whole idea with this, obviously, it's proven challenging to show in a demo, but all of this is automated and usually runs after business hours. So this list with missing content will do 2 things: remind you on which products you actually need to look at, but when you have processed them, this flow will also clear. So you can just spend the morning and then 30 minutes after you're done with the product, it will be removed from here. So you will just do them one by one, and then kind of sometimes you can almost do gamification on this. It's like who can clear their lane.
And also what we do a lot with our own automation with Crystallize is to fire Slack messages with summaries and to-dos and things like this. So you get those. And also here, obviously, we could do a next iteration of unassigned to-dos, right? Like you have a product that wasn't assigned to a person, you get it in a list, drop it to me or Martin. But again, this is just a demo to show the points here and the possibilities. What you need to set up for your organization will probably be something a little bit different, but it will use the same kind of plumbing and the same kind of methodologies. If you want to use something else to translate, you can of course do that.
Oh yeah. We've used OpenAI plenty of times, and I think maybe Google Vertex, their suite sounds very promising. So we're now doing some proof of concept on perhaps writing the short description and the long description based on interpreting the image and the product name. And those have proven to be quite accurate, actually. So that could be pretty cool. It could also, all of these things. So we obviously that's a different stream board, but you can do an overview in an app as well, where you can have leaderboards and so forth. And And as we talked about shaming, it's if someone has a very long lane of things that are unprocessed, maybe someone, you know, could help them. So it could be visible that, you know, maybe these product lines are more challenging than others. So it wasn't that Martin or Board was lazy. It was just that this is a shit ton of work.
Yeah.
To use French.
But the overall goal is to increase the quality of your product data, use automation where it makes sense. And again, shout out to Ingest, that's with the double N's, right? And DeepL. And thanks to you, Martin. It was a great introduction. We will do more streams. Let's also schedule one down the line here with Martin with another topic. And if you want to see more, of course, as Didrik says, like and subscribe. And on that note, see you in the next one.